Hello, Lightwalker here, narrating a hike that I just completed a little while ago. It's a combination of two hikes according to the Appalachian Trail book I'll show you in a moment. 10 Mile River to Bulls Bridge and Bulls Bridge to Kent. There's a picture of the book which provides awesome detail of both of these hikes. I highly recommend you purchase it or go out to your local library and ask for it. I was lucky my library had it. This is a detail of where we start off of, actually right near Hoyt Road. The trail does cross Hoyt Road and literally on this line and brings you in and out of the state. There's the elevation change. You could see before Bulls Bridge there's a mountain you climb over, and then there's a few other mountains climbing over which are very well detailed in that booklet. I was lucky at the start of a hike. It was a cool 62 degrees with about 69% humidity. And that was just north in Kent, Connecticut. There's a lot. You can see there's room for a good half dozen cars, maybe more if you pack them in. And straight ahead you'll see a rock which tells you which way is north and south. Sounds pretty stupid to have a rock like that, but actually the first time I hiked from here I didn't see that rock and I went the wrong way and didn't notice it for about a mile. That was when I first started getting to hike a couple of years ago, hiking. You can see some good info signs at the post there. And at the sign, not shortly into the trail, you'll see a Welcome to Connecticut sign. And even though this goes back into New York and back into Connecticut, this is the official start in Connecticut. This is probably if you call it a water hazard, the only brook that I really had to traverse on the whole hike. Took all but 30 seconds to get over it. And then you can see how nicely the trail is maintained. There is some gravel with some boards keeping the gravel in. Thank you to AMC for maintaining this part of the trail. And then here's the incline up to the first part of that mountain. Let me see if I can get the name of that mountain for you in a second here. First rock wall along the trip. Those are all over Connecticut. You'll see a lot of those as time goes by. And there's a view to the right on the top of that first mountain, which I'm looking up real quick. I apologize, I should have had this sooner. It looks like, don't know the name of the mountain. Anyway, there's another view from the top of it. Ten-Mile Hill, I believe it's called. You can see that to get to the top of this hill, we've gone 1.6 miles, and we've ascended probably, looks like about 400 or 500 feet. And there's pretty much some beautifully maintained steps coming down the other side. Some of the nicest I've seen on the entire Appalachian Trail in Connecticut. Look at that. Couldn't be any nicer other than an escalator, which you couldn't have because there's no electricity in the area. And you pretty much come out by the Housatonic River. It's a great river to swim in. It's highly recommended you don't drink out of it unless you filter the water first. And here we're approaching the 10 Mile River shelter. There's a well down there, and there's campsites to the left. I took a picture of what appears to be a campsite, but I'm not sure if that was it. That was only maybe about 100 yards to the left. If that's it, it's just beautiful. It's right near the river. Hopefully not many mosquitoes except for the wet season. There's a privy which I was really glad to see because I had to use it. It's no more than 100 yards off the trail. And at this point we've gone 2.5 miles into the hike, getting close to the Housatonic River. Actually, what I mentioned before was a river was not the river, it was a tributary. And this is, I believe, to the right is the river. And there's a nice bridge that someone built a while ago, very sturdy bridge. And there's a view to the right, left of the bridge, looking at the river coming down the tributary. And there's my cameo appearance, the one and only one you'll see in this video. And across the river you'll see a log cabin house, which is pretty cool. And right next to that there's another house that's regular wood, but I'm guessing one's a main house and one is a tenant house or a guest house. Just really cool that someone can live this close to the river, maybe about 50 feet above it. At this point we are going up a little ridgeline just to the left of the river, no more than maybe 100 feet above the river. Beautifully maintained trail. And you come out to this gravel road shortly, which is deceptive because it looks like vehicles can go on this road, but there's signs posted everywhere. It's just hiking only. At this point, we come to the Homestead Trail Loop, which you can take if you wanted to squeeze an extra mile out of this. It's a extra half-mile loop there and back. And just a clear marking that here you take a left to get to the AT. If you're not familiar with this AT logo, you would think you'd go straight, but actually you go left to continue north. And you could see lots more ferns on the right. I'm not sure what's on the left. Could be poison ivy. And another rock wall, well-marked sign, and a nice passageway through the wall. At this point, we get to the road bringing you to Bulls Bridge. I believe this is Bulls Bridge Road. You go right about 3/10 of a mile to get to the bridge. We're going to continue straight on whatever that next road is called. Yeah, you can see the map there. For no more than maybe 3/10 of a mile. And you can see on one side of the road is plenty of mountain laurel. And the other side of the road is wetland and a ridge to the west. I'm not sure what that's called, but it's must be a pretty nice view up there year round. And you can see to the right we enter back onto the main trail. Thank goodness. This is where we start doing the loop setbacks to get to the top of Schaghticoke Mountain. This mountain, I believe, is around 1,300 feet, and we've got over 1,000 feet of elevation to gain here. Thank goodness it's not all straight up. It still requires you to be in very good shape and have plenty of drinking water. Hey, there's my favorite plant. I guess it's a tree, sassafras. Used to make sassafras beer with the roots when I was younger and scouting. And once again, you can see the beautifully maintained trail thanks to the Appalachian Mountain Club Connecticut chapter. And here's a view from the top, near the top of Schaghticoke Mountain. This is actually looking west toward the Catskills. On a clear day, you could see Bear Mountain and other points west. And we've gone 6.1 miles into our hike. You can see the elevation we just tore up. At this point, it pretty much levels off till you get around the mountain and back to the Connecticut-New York state line. Once again, very well-maintained trails here. Looks like some blueberry bushes all along the trails at the higher elevations. There's my thumb. And at 7.4 miles, we are back into Connecticut, about 3.5 miles into the hike. And here we descend for a while, and here's some beautifully maintained steps that we came down. I just had to take a picture of them from the bottom. And once again, the trail maintenance crew is right on top of it. Freshly cut blowdown right there. Thank you very much. And then we head up a little ways toward the, I believe what's called the Schaghticoke Mountain Campsite. Before that, note the lookout. There's a lookout place here right at the peak there. This, I believe, is looking east. I'm not sure what that town is. Pretty much we have more elevation to climb. This is why you got to be in good shape. There's over 2,600 elevation footage on this route. And if you're not in good shape, you best just turn around and go back home because there's more climbing to be done. We're just crossing this ravine here, almost done with the ups and downs here. And then from the top, the other side of the ravine, there's a beautiful view looking east to that ridge line and some farmland in the valley. At this point, we are finally at the Schaghticoke Mountain camping area. Notice it looks like there's about a half dozen campsites. I continued on. I'm guessing that's one of them right near the sign. I could be mistaken. And at this point, we do some more climbing up to a mountain, which is actually not named on the trail map. I'm not sure why. It's the other than Scaticoat Mountain. It's actually might even be higher elevation than Scaticoat Mountain. So this is my third challenging climb of the entire day. Thank goodness, almost the last one. Looks like about another 500 feet elevation you have to go up. It's not just all roses. Notice there's rocks along the trail too, parts of it. So you need good hiking shoes. And these rocks, I'm not sure what they're called. I think there's a name for them in the hiking book, but it's a landmark area. You notice something's been scratching that bark. I wonder if it's disease or a bear. At this point, we are 10 miles into the hike, just over 5 hours, and can't wait to get back to the car. At this point, we start the descent downhill toward Thayer Brook. Not sure if I have any pictures or video of that brook. No, I don't, because next on the map is Mount Algo, and there's a shelter. That's just a little over 1,000 feet, maybe about 1,100 feet elevation. And actually the shelter was actually before Mount Algo, it looks like. Yeah, there's the ravine. You can see it in blue, and Mount Algo is maybe another half-mile further. And you can see it's uphill again to the top of Mount Algo. The last climb of this hike. Thank the Lord. Then it's back down across boulders for maybe a tenth of a mile. Actually, it looks like for the next half a mile until you get to a lean-to area and a registration book on the right. And I believe the road is down there to the right. Yep, there's my car. You can see room for about a half dozen cars there, maybe more. And that's the end of my hike. And again, to summarize, this is there's a temperature at the end. It warmed up a little to 74 degrees. Humidity dropped to a very comfortable 43%, a lot better than the beginning of the hike. And there's that crazy elevation change I was talking about along the hike. Total 11.4 miles, 2,657 feet of elevation. And here's a recap of the hike, in case you missed it at the beginning of the video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If not, you're welcome to give it a thumbs down or change the channel. Also, please refer to your friends for this and subscribe if you like. Lightwalker signing out.